Hello.
It's nice to see you
Nice to meet you.
on the cusp of something really big at the Citadel Theatre. That's nice.
Mhm.
Good to hear Rubaboo is coming.
Oh, I'm so excited.
Yeah, it must be
I'm
thrilling.
I'm glad I'm in Treaty 6 and taking it to the homeland of the Métis. This is a big deal.
We'll get to Rubaboo in detail and kind of bringing it back home, as it were. But I just want to go back in time and I wanted to ask you what milestones kind of informed your journey in creating this piece.
That's a good question. Actually, I've done theater, I've done TV, I've done music, and I've done speaking. And during COVID, my performance part of me sort of went quiet. And I thought, I guess I'm going to be teaching more. I'm going to be teaching more about the rise of the sacred feminine, which was taught to me by my elders, and my own understanding of how to return to balance as a human species, right? So
Mm-hmm.
all of this was more active during COVID than my performer. But after a big break, I was called by the artistic director at the time of the Grand Theatre, Dennis Garnham, to say, do you have anything, musical, sort of cabaret-like, theatrical that we can enter our space?
Yeah.
And I went, yeah, sure, I can come up with something. And it was just going to be a concert. But when it came down to actually writing it, I scripted it. I realized, oh no, there's way more I want to say here than just sing songs. I'm so much more than just a singer. I'm a storyteller. I'm an advocate. I care deeply about people coming together in a good way. I care about reconciliation. I care about rematriation. All of these things that here's an opportunity to do more than theater, because I've been in the business long enough where I know that, Indigenous people are back in. I literally was told by a casting director, Indigenous people are out. I'm like, really? We're out, are we? Oh, wow. Well, tell that to my community. We're not out. So I've been in it long enough to have these waves of interest from the mainstream culture of Indigenous this, and then, not so interested, and then back to interest. So I thought, I'm not going to be a token. I really, truly want to have a message for all people coming.
Mm-hmm.
And so this is where my Rubaboo came from. So you have my version of a creation story. I have music that makes you think, and I have basically a ceremonial aspect of sort of some teachers of the four sacred elements and a Rubaboo, which is a traditional big soup in our community that, feasting together. So I have a lot of different aspects of myself in this one show, which is kind of hard for a theater show. So the best word I can say is a cabaret, because it's got a lot of things that you may not necessarily see in a regular theater show.
And you alluded to the creation story specifically. How would you characterize that from a Métis perspective?
Well, I guess that would come the teacher in me, talks about the elders helped me understand that we are in a time called the rise of the sacred feminine, a time when we are returning to wholeness, we're returning to balance, and we must remember who we are. And we came here, the original instructions that we gave was that the feminine and the masculine aspects of life are both to be valued equally. And we live in a world, in a system that are very masculine in nature, and all beings are having to overdevelop their masculine side in order to succeed, in order to thrive, or not necessarily thrive, but in order to succeed in this world. But all things feminine have suffered. And that means, women and children in general, the Mother Earth, but also the nurturing aspects of men have suffered deeply, deeply. So that's what I'm over here teaching about. But I wanted to put this in a theatrical way. So for me, moving into the spiritual realm as an actor gives me permission to remind people about their sacred nature. It's broken into 4 parts in the show. So you go through these stories of a fictionalized version of how we came to be where we are today. and how we can move out of it.
And very, very fascinating. The idea of moving forward, like you say, embracing the feminine and perhaps the more nurturing side of humanity. Because when Rubaboo, when I first read about it and the Michif culture, the stew, and it's estafados in Spanish, it's ratatouille in French, but it seems like the stew is kind of like a common thing that links us all together as humanity. Is your proverbial stew symbolic of this?
I love that you recognize that feasting it connects us all. Every culture feasts and soups, stews, We are creating a symbolic Rubaboo right in front of the audience. And metaphorically, as you said, it's also your presence, the audience presence in the room is like adding to our Rubaboo. So every evening's Rubaboo is very different, but it's made with love.
Well, here's to sharing that chemistry and also, the all-pervasive feminine spirit and nurturing spirit taking hold of the world. Thank you, Andrea, for chatting with us this afternoon. And here's to Rubaboo coming to the Citadel Theatre. That's very, very exciting.
Thank you for having me.